As previously discussed in my slides, we talked about abstract expressionism. Abstract expressionism was actually considered to be pretty political art of the time. The reason that it was political was due to the fact that most people around that era was designing very realistic type of art. Let's say around the 1940s to 1950s, there was a great sense of censorship. There was the World War II, we were dealing with the Soviet Union, we were also dealing with Hitler, the Nazis, and everything like that. And they were actually taking a lot of control over how and what was produced, whether it be anything art related to music to really anything. So when a lot of the artists fled, they really wanted to have kind of a sense of something free, like, a sense of freedom. I mean, especially we had censorship here in the US, so they began to kind of go away from what was considered art, or at least commercialism of that time, or really, at that period in time, a lot of the artists were starving and not really making a living, so they figured if I'm going to be starving and not making a living, I might as well paint what I really truly love. So that is part of the development of abstract expressionism. Abstract expressionism was actually a means of the artists sort of communicating amongst each other, whether it be speaking certain things politically, of however they feel or emotions that they felt at that time. And it was kind of a almost secret language among the artists that the abstract expressionism movement was, to be able to paint. And really, it wasn't even about the actual painting, but it was the process of the painting. You had action painting, which dealt a lot with gestural movements, and it was just the beauty of how each artist uniquely painted. I believe that graffiti, in a sense, is very similar. Graffiti artists tag their names as a sense of, it could be ownership, gang-related, territory, for territory purposes, so many different reasons. And similar to that of abstract expressionism, it's a means of communicating. I feel that graffiti art has been really inspired by the abstract expressionist movement. Here are two pieces of art that I have selected. On the left is a Jackson Pollock 1952 painting named Convergence. On the right is just a simple graffiti piece that I've selected. As you can see, it's quite obvious that there are many similarities. Once again, here's another example of similarity in styles. On the left, you have a William de Kooning painting named Woman 1. On the right is another graffiti piece that I've found, and it's, as you can see, very similar in the sense that it almost looks somewhat unfinished, and you can't really almost make out the woman, and they have similarities in big eyes and other features. Last but not least, you have Mark Rothko's 1957 red, white, and brown painting, and on the right is a graffiti piece. As you can see, there's certain similarities in the color field. You have, even though there's red and stuff like that, it's very geometric, and like Mark Rothko, it kind of has a sense of an emotion and feeling. If you look at graffiti or street art today, there is a kind of a sense of rebellion. For one, you have that art or graffiti art is kind of considered to be, or is actually considered to be vandalism, and it is illegal. Even though abstract expressionism wasn't considered to be illegal, I feel that it's similar in the sense of that they are both kind of rebellious, and you can look at a lot of artists today, graffiti artists, that, like, example, Banksy, that does a lot of political art in his pieces on his wall. And there's people who even speculate that graffiti isn't really art. And I feel like that is what really sort of ties the relation to abstract expressionism and graffiti art today.